Hello everyone, this is Take from bigheadtaco.com and I'm here in Revolver Coffee, and I've done a couple of videos here, the XT10, the original release, as well as I'm sure I've done other things. Oh, with Eric Kim, we started off just outside at the front doors here at Revolver Coffee. This is in Gastown. I have a very special guest. It's Tarry. I mean, I know you as Tarry G on Instagram, but what is your last name?
Janakis.
Janakis. So Tarry
which makes G easier.
Yes, of course. So Tarry G. For me, it's the first part of my name that Munetake Kayo. So taco was just easier. So Terry, thank you so much for coming on the show. We hang out and do this stuff anyways. We're just recording what we do anyway. So we'll make this fun. I thought it'd be funny to sort of spread out all the kind of cameras. This is kind of how we initially connected. Now, Terry, there's something unusual but unusually cool about Revolver Coffee. For some reason, all the camera nerds hang out here. Now, when I say camera nerd, now think of the biggest camera nerd in the world. Who do you think of? We didn't even rehearse this.
Eric?
Eric Kim. And so, last year, about the same time, maybe a month before this, we were on the other side, and we were with my Leica rep, and we were arranging to have the Leica Akademie here, which we did last year on the other side. And on the Instagram channel, you'll see some pictures that I took here. But as we were talking, the meeting was finished. We were talking about Eric Kim. You said Eric's in town.
Yeah.
Well, you could finish off the story. So Eric's in town.
Well, and then one of our staff comes over.
Yes.
And says, I think Eric Kim is sitting in one of the booths next door.
Just like we're talking 4 booths from here, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Take and I naturally walk around the corner. Like, we see that it's there, and we plan, let's do like a really obnoxious street photography style
Let's
Eric.
Let's photobomb him with as many cameras as we could, and that was easy. I think we both had at least 3 cameras apiece, right? But we only have two hands. And who was it? You, me, and did
George and Tommy were shooting from the background and catching us shooting him.
It was just this orgy of cameras. Yes. Yeah. And so we photobombed them over there. So even Eric Kim, and he did not know of you. I think he said he just looked up on the internet, coolest place to have coffee, and Revolver was the first place. So it's funny, we're talking about him. He was just sitting over there, and that's kind of how I was connected to Eric Kim, was actually from here. So thank you so much for that.
Good to be a facilitator.
When I invited you to come on the show, you didn't say I'm not a professional photographer, but you kind of said, no, why do you want me on your show? And my show is about photography, community, like the photo community, and the city that I love and grew up in, Vancouver. So to me, there is no show without Tarry G and Revolver Coffee. There just can't be. So, you saw me doing some shots at Leo's Camera Supply, and I did some videos out here. Me and Eric walked through Gastown and Chinatown. I'm trying to interview and do stuff in shops that are dear to me, but as well I find that are very important to the photo community. So I think you are one of the hubs, one of them by accident, because you're buying and selling. Everybody knows who you are.
Yeah, it's been. Thank you. You're generous in your descriptions. I've been involved for only about 3 years.
Yes.
But in that time, I think I've gone through about 45 cameras.
45 cameras.
Maybe as many as you have. Except you're actually spending time and reviewing.
No.
About them.
Yeah. Well, even owning, I probably own 45 cameras, but that's over 20 years, Terry.
Right.
There's an excuse for that.
So I want an accelerated path of that.
Yes, well, explain that a little bit. Explain a little bit of that journey, like you talked to me about. Well, why 45 cameras in 3 years?
Well, it started innocently enough.
Yeah.
Here at the store, I started looking at this book, Movie Stars Drinking Coffee.
Movie stars, so not Seinfeld's thing, but this is different.
No, but this is like Anthony Quinn.
Okay.
Dean Martin.
Yeah. The old Rat Pack kind of guys.
And there was a lot of great photos, and them dressed well, drinking coffee, which kind of all fit. And I was looking at the photos though too and going, wow, this is really nice. And then at the same time, we had a guy who used to run Vancouverites, Rami.
Okay.
And he would come in all the time. He's a shooter.
Oh, okay.
But he's not here anymore.
Okay.
But he would come in with various cameras. But the one camera that he'd come in that I admired the most was one like this one.
Was it a medium format?
Was actually a Hasselblad.
Oh, okay.
And I would look at it all the time, admire it. And then one day I made the mistake of asking him if I could touch it.
Ah.
And I did, and he started showing me how it works. Yeah. And then, you know, this thing just kind of converged.
Yeah. So this is before even you were into photography. Photographers are already drawn to this place for some odd reason.
Yeah, I mean, we're in Gastown.
Yeah, Gastown.
There's, you know, we do coffee.
Yes, there's designers everywhere.
There's designers, there's creatives all over the place. This is like, I mean, it's of all ages, but there's a high concentration of, you know, 25, 35 creatives all over the place. So, you know, where there's creatives, there's no doubt photography. Yeah. Both film and digital.
Yes.
So
this was one of the first ones.
One of the first ones.
You didn't buy it.
I didn't buy it, but that started me on my journey to looking for one.
The perfect.
And digging deeper into photography and the idea of, I love people. I love being around people. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're in the coffee business.
Of course.
And for me, being an extrovert, this is like a relational candy store.
Yeah, of course.
And so
relational candy store. I like that.
Well, that's true. Which is what it is.
If you don't like people, you don't work in a coffee shop.
You definitely don't want to be in this business.
Or the food industry.
And I love people.
Yeah.
So boy, like being with people is a whole level, getting to know about them.
Yeah.
But then capturing them, at least that's my thought. Yeah. You know, with a photo is like another thing.
It's another layer.
So I started with
something like
the idea of a Hasselblad.
Yes. But
never ended up getting one initially.
At the time.
And at the time, I knew one of my guys, who's now one of my lead camera mentors.
Okay.
Aaron.
Okay.
Who you met on the street.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Right?
With the Rolly 35 SE or whatever.
That's what he had, but he's a, Leica guy.
Oh, okay. He has everything.
Pentax guy. Nikon guy. Well, we started talking about Leica.
Yeah.
And then I found this article, Leica as teacher. And so the idea was spend 1 year with one camera on Leica and one lens and one type of film. So black and white.
Okay. And so what did you pick one of those?
Yes. M6.
M6.
50 millimeter.
50 mil, yeah.
And Tri-X. Of course. I mean, how standard.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a good start. That's a good start.
Yeah, well, that was a good start. The problem is that's as far as I got. It was a good start. Because I'm a great starter.
Okay. Like most people.
Yeah.
New Year's resolution.
I'm an exceptional starter, a poor middler, and a very bad finisher.
Okay.
So I know that. Yeah. So I adjust myself accordingly. So I started. I convinced my wife, God bless her, an amazing woman, to let me buy this Leica and one lens and do on this 1 year journey.
Yeah.
Well, that was the innocent start of it. It didn't work out like that. After a month, I had bought my first medium format camera, which was a Texas Leica.
Oh, okay.
The
Fuji
GW8
or 6. Was it 6.8, 6.9,
it was a 6.9.
6. Yeah, that thing eats film.
Yeah, it was amazing. I bought one of those. Yeah. Then I thought, gee, I should get a digital as well. Yeah. So I bought my first X100.
X100, yeah.
We don't have one. We don't have one here, but that was my first X100 of 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I kept on buying them.
Yes.
And loving them for a little while, and then getting tired of them, moving on. Then I got a little more into Leica.
Again, and we have a Leica here, right? Your son's M monochrome.
Yes.
The original M monochrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of gear here.
Yeah.
And while I didn't start anybody in cameras here, my own passion for it definitely ignited what was already in them.
Seems like half your staff is into photography.
Well,
I just found out
definitely our leadership team is in photography.
Yeah.
Some of the rest of our staff is into photography.
I mean, they're all creatives, and that's why they live and work in this area, right?
Yeah.
So let's actually, so we have all this out for a reason. Half these are sort of like, this is my review camera here, my personal camera, review camera. So let's talk about, I asked you to kind of grab a few cameras and maybe explain. Okay, so I know a little bit about this. We can talk about this later, but this is, what is this, Nolan? Oh.
This is a Nikon. It's
oh, you taped it all up.
It's taped up.
FE, what is this then? Oh,
this is the EM.
Oh, the EM, yes, of course.
So this was one of my wife's first SLRs.
Oh, okay. From like,
and
she bought a new 20 years ago.
20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Actually, more than 30 years ago.
She's always had it.
She's always had it. She's always been a shooter.
Yeah.
She even had a dark room.
Oh, awesome. Your wife is rad. She's awesome.
And it's been sitting on a shelf.
Yeah.
So this was actually the first camera I picked up when I got into it like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I started shooting with it and with that lens.
Yeah.
And it was
great
fun.
lens, 50 mil, 1.8, yeah.
And I was getting some really good stuff.
Yeah.
And and then came the M6.
Yeah.
And then more M6s and the journey goes on.
Yeah.
This one is one of the few that is not sold.
Of course, it's a sentimental piece.
Yes,
it's a trophy,
and it won't be sold.
Yeah.
Well, one, it's not mine to sell.
Yes, of course. Yes, don't do that.
Right.
Yeah. So you started an account called on Instagram called 365 Vancouverites, and it was to feature using this Hasselblad only to feature one Vancouverite per day for 365 days.
Yes.
Very complicated project. Lots of hitches because, of course, you can't shoot one frame and then go get it developed and then post it. You have to shoot, whatever.
You gotta have inventory.
120, what do you get on a 6x6?
12
frames? Yeah,
12 frames.
Or you get 324 on a 220.
Right.
220, does anyone shoot 220 anymore?
No,
it's
difficult,
right?
I don't have a 220 back anymore.
Yeah, there you go. So,
and it's hard enough shooting 12.
Yeah, and
there were days where I had 3 shots on there.
Well, I was gonna say,
and I got it printed, I got it developed anyway.
And I also was going to say that you're assuming that you're going to get 12 shots of 12 different people, because how many shots did you take of me? 3? 4?
3 or 4.
3 or 4, exactly. So one roll, you could actually only have 3 or 4 people, and then you got to develop it, and then now you only have 4 days, and then you're panicking because there's another 3 more days, right? So, so this is a very difficult project, but that whole one camera, one lens, one film, and what film was it that you tried?
For this, it was HP5.
Oh, HP5. You went Ilford?
Well,
okay, all right. Well, I forgive you. We're still friends.
We're an Ilford dealer.
Oh yes,
that's a whole other animal.
I actually knew about that, but I didn't say anything. Okay, so Delta's Ilford is good, but so 1 year. So I thought, Terry's finally committed to one camera, one lens, one film, and then
I lasted for almost 4 months.
Yes, like a month ago, you said, "Oh, Taki, I'm going to B&H. It's gonna be so awesome." And I think we were not even texting back and forth while you were iMessaging while you were in New York. And then, did you tell me what you got while you were there?
I told you what I was going to buy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then I decided not to buy it. And then before I came home, I decided to buy it.
Okay, so which is, let's talk about it.
Okay, so I bought a friend of mine who's a medium format, large format, and Leica shooter.
Yes.
Loaned me his OMD EM5.
Okay.
3 months ago.
Okay.
I almost bought it then.
It's actually a great camera. I like it. Yeah.
Size, feel, with the grip, and I love the fact that it's got
the articulating
LCD.
Yes.
Because I don't want. It's not because I want to take shots that are stealthy.
Yes.
It's just that I'm too lazy to bend down too much to do.
It also feels like a medium format. It feels like a Hasselblad.
Well, yeah, and it's got that waist level finder kind of feel.
Your perspective shifts when you do that. Your shooting style shifts.
Yes. And B&H had such a good deal on them. This is actually the first camera of about 45 that I've ever bought new.
Yes. Oh,
and I'm keeping it.
Yes, it's
which is rare
because it was almost half off at the time.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Well, with lens.
With the lens too.
with the 14. With a kit lens.
Oh, the kit lens.
The kit lens and a tripod.
And a tripod. There you go. Thank you, B&H. And so, guys, people know that I love my Ricoh GR. They know that I review for Leica. review for Fujifilm, and I do promote these cameras. But in general, when family and friends say, what camera do I want? I want something more than a point and shoot. The OMD EM5 Mark I, the first one, I said best bang for your buck, resolution, price, performance. We can't beat this or the Panasonic equivalent, but I still think this is actually, in terms of taking images, this is actually a better camera.
Well, the image stabilization is pretty amazing.
The 5-axis. I think that's why Sony bought them.
It's amazing.
Because the new A7 series all have this 5-axis stabilization.
Right.
They just bought Olympus a year ago. Shebang, it shows up on their camera. So, that's a great feature. So any lens you mount on here, including with the adapters, is all image stabilized.
Exactly.
Yeah, great for handheld video work.
And the lenses are like ridiculous.
Small, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. It's even smaller than the APS-C stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. What lens is this actually?
That's a 45 1.8.
So this is like a 90 mil. Yeah,
it's a 90, and it's sharp. It's awesome.
It's very like.
I was gonna say it's like a Eask. I don't mean it's not a Leica.
No, of course.
But in terms of the proportional size of the lens,
even the focal length,
performance ratio.
Most major brands and SLRs go from 85. They jump to 100, right, or 105.
Right.
I think Nikon made 105 very popular, but a 90 is odd. But Leica's always had a 75 and a 90 for their telephoto lenses, right? So yeah, you must feel like you're shooting a hybrid of a Leica with this lens, and then a viewfinder of a Hasselblad. So it's this weird German connection.
This is still amazing. I mean,
of course.
When I look through this camera here, including like now, sometimes I don't even. When you look through the viewfinder, I find I don't even have to press the shutter.
Of course.
Just looking through the viewfinder.
Yes.
Sometimes the image just is written on my heart.
No.
And the shutter doesn't have to be clicked.
Of course.
Because I've got it.
No. And actually, I have a friend who shoots 4x5 and 8x10 large format.
Yeah.
And he would set up a deep cove or somewhere very nature-like, and he'd put his head under, and it's like a TV screen.
Yeah.
I mean, your negative is this big or this big, and you're just blown away at the sharpness. And he would just zoom in, zoom out, do the tilt shift, which is what you can do with the large format, and get amazing depth of field. Like you'll get like 200 feet of depth of field when you shift the focal plane. That's why they have that accordion type front. And he just sits there and stares. It was 2 shots in 6 hours, and he still had a great time.
I was offered a tear top, whatever they're called.
Horseman?
No, a 4x7.
Linhof?
Yeah. A Linhof 4x7 today.
4.7? Have you heard of 4.7?
I told 4.5.
You mean 4.5?
4.5. Sorry, 4.5. I told the guy to stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Before we got any deeper into it, because it was already starting to sound attractive. And I do have a couple of M bodies to trade.
And it doesn't fit on this table. It would have to put it on its own.
Well, this is why
Eric Kim
this
table.
is why we have 4 more tables and a bigger one next door.
So maybe one day as we talk, we'll shift tables, right? We'll just keep on moving. Actually, if I bring my collection,
format table.
I'll bring all my cameras, because I do have my 20-year collection. I probably have I probably have like 15 to 20 film SLR bodies. 15 to 20 Minoltas and lenses everywhere. And then I have my AF bodies, which are another collection, and then all my instant Polaroid stuff. And so I have 20 years. I have an excuse. Slowly, I just buy it up, and a lot of it I don't sell. But some of the stuff I do sell, because it's a lot to sit on, right? As you probably noticed.
Right.
So what Leica bodies are you sitting on right now?
Anyone's
interested in buying?
Yep. Right now, I have an M6 TTL.
M6 TTL. What year?
0.85.
0.85. Okay.
I don't know what year it is,
okay,
but Leica just redid everything. Like not only was it CLA and reskinned.
Oh, really?
But new motherboard too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the meter wasn't working when I got it back,
which is very common for the M6 TTL.
And replaced the motherboard too.
Okay.
And then I have a 1961 M2. Which was CLA'd by Sherry Crowder in New York.
Oh, very good. This recent trip or?
No, she had done it before I bought it.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so both of those I'm selling.
You're selling M2?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. This will be my 3rd M2.
Yeah, you keep on plowing.
And my 5th M6.
You should try an M. Have you bought an M3 before?
I've never owned an M3 or an M4.
Have you looked through one though? It's amazing.
It is amazing.
If you shoot 50 mil.
And I do shoot 50. Well, I shoot 35 and 50.
Yeah, it's amazing. 20. It's an amazing camera for. It's the brightest, biggest viewfinder that Leica's ever made. Simplest too.
Right.
Just telling you.
I love the beauty and the cleanliness of the M2 as well.
Of course.
Like just the great frame lines.
Yeah.
And it's got a 35.
Yes, of course.
Which I like too.
Yeah. So you need one M2, one M3, one Hasselblad, and then OMD, and then you're set.
Well, actually, what I really need is everything.
Maybe you should just buy B&H.
One of everything.
I don't know. Okay, maybe not Leo's. You could buy Leo's camera supply.
Which would be like buying B&H in Vancouver.
Yes, it would be. Yeah. So maybe I should introduce you to the guys at. So the next time I'm there, maybe I'll invite you and we'll go talk to them.
I know some of those guys.
Oh, do you really?
Jeff, primarily.
Oh, okay. I know Jeff.
Who's great.
Yeah.
Speaking about buying stuff.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff that I've bought has been on Craigslist.
Of course.
And sold. We had, I had met with the Fuji rep at one of the Fuji shoots.
Oh, photo walks.
At the photo walks at
that was
Queenie
last
Park.
summer.
Yeah.
Last summer. Yeah.
So I met the Fuji rep there. And we arranged for a Fuji event here.
Of course, after.
At Arca. After that.
Yeah. On the other side,
And I just want to tell you how that went, because it's part of community, which I know you're super into.
Oh, of course.
So the way that worked is I keep all my text messages, all my emails. I don't delete anything. And I had done so many camera transactions and so many Fuji transactions that I contacted 25, 26 people off Craigslist that I had done deals with.
Yeah.
18 of them came.
Oh, wow.
And it was the sales rep, a few friends and staff, and 18 people that I had met on Craigslist. And we spent 3 hours
just nerding out,
going over gear like this. It was raining too hard to go and shoot, which was the idea.
Yeah.
So the Fuji rep, Gord, was generous and just handed out stuff. And we played with stuff. Yeah. But it was crazy. Like before the event started, I introduced Gord. Yeah. And then I said to the people there, if you're in this room, it's because in the last 2 years, I've bought or sold you, or both, a camera or lens off Craigslist. Like, that's how rich the Craigslist community is.
Yes.
And still connected with a lot of those people. And the same thing in the Leica world on Craigslist too.
I think I've met a few of them hanging out here at times where I'm sitting, and then they know me through my bigheadtaco. But then I said, "How do you know Terry?" It's like, "Oh, we bought a lens." And a lot of them communicate with me through Instagram or through Twitter and stuff like that. So you've built a community based on equipment.
It's gotten to the point where sometimes I've actually bought and sold things via text. It's like, hey man, I got one of these, or no way, you got one of those.
You should just PayPal each other, or drop money off between the cushions or something like that.
But that's kind of the beginning of it. I mean, the cameras have been a catalyst,
of course,
for actually, as you know, because I know the kind of guy you are, for way deeper connections.
Oh no, of course.
Like guys that I would call friends that I spend time with.
Yes.
Started because of this stuff.
Of course.
And now it's like, we hang out.
Well, that's no different than, I have my watch guy friends. I know guys that collect hockey cards, bottle caps. I knew a guy that actually was one of the North American leaders of collecting glass bottles, Coke bottles, all the way to the late 1800s. And he just created this online community of people, and he almost became a historian. He actually had it all insured. And same thing, he's just telling me these amazing stories, and you could almost substitute Coke bottle with Leica. Because the way he was explaining it, it's like, wow, it's no different than collecting cameras or watches or anything else. You just kind of, so not to say you're not a photographer or you're not a collector, but you're both. There are some guys that they don't really care what they're shooting with. You just throw a camera in their hand and they're happy, and they're very creative people. On the other end of things, people have gear acquisition syndrome, where all they do is collect. you are somewhere in a happy medium in the middle. You obviously like to collect, like I do. I love cameras, but I also like to take pictures. But if you had to choose, what leaning, and this is no bias or any prejudice.
I go through phases.
Yeah.
This last year, it's been a shooter phase.
Yes, and I actually can tell.
I've calmed down with the gas.
Yes.
I mean, really.
This doesn't seem like it's calmed down, folks, but this is calmed down from Tarry G from last summer.
I mean, these are my two primary cameras and my iPhone.
Yes, and this is your son's, and this is your wife's, and this the rest of are all mine. Yeah. So yes,
and I do have the M6 and the M2.
Yes,
but I don't actually shoot them.
Yes,
I bought them with the thought of it, but no, they're kind of passing through me to someone else.
Yes.
Now I did just try to buy a Ricoh GR.
Oh, so sad.
And I'm still waiting to see if I've done that deal. No, the GR, not the new one. The
GR4.
That one.
Oh, the GR. Yeah.
No, the real GR. This one. With a 21 millimeter.
Hood. The adapter.
The adapter.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to hear if I've got that.
So thank you so much, Tarry, for coming on my show. I hope you had a good time.
It was fun.
This is no different than what we do on a regular basis.
This is our normal day.
Exactly, actually. Except we just have a camera near us.
And we normally have coffee on the table too.
Of course, but in this way we can invite like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100,000. Let's make it 100,000, folks. 100,000 people watching this and sharing the passion we have for photography, for community, and for coffee. I'm learning too, because this is a coffee shop. But thank you so much for coming on the show. Now, I always end off, Tarry, with my click. I think you've seen my video. So grab your favorite camera. We'll end off with a click. Oh yeah, of course. So I have
my current favorite.
Yes, so I have my Ricoh GR. You have your OMD EM5 Mark I, picked up at B&H. And thank you again for coming on my show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. And you have a viewfinder.
Yeah.
I'll pretend I have one, and we'll just play again. So thank you for watching, everyone, and we'll talk to you later. Click.